I hope you are all having a wonderful day. It's Tuesday. Now, this Tuesday, there's not a video at 7 p.m., but next Tuesday, Connie Jo is premiering her Chiron video. Good morning, Jody. Aw. And you know, I know that I'm usually on late at night, so this is the whole point, is getting to meet people that I don't normally get to meet when I'm on later at night. All right, so Capricorn, this is your full read for the week. And guys, let me know if you want me to do monthlies. I feel like because we're checking in so often, you may not need me to do a monthly. I think that there's other things we can do with the channel. And also let me know if you want me to do a full moon, the Sagittarius supermoon, if you want me to do a full moon special. So Capricorn, at the bottom of the deck, we have the World card. It was in reverse, which means I know that there's a big shift here for you. It's energetically available. It's just in flux. You know, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say before, I don't mind the World card when it's in reverse, because it's still in play, and part of the message of the World card is to remind us that is our wheel of fortune. We have so much ebb and flow with the shift that is the World card. And it's also a little bit of trust in universe, which means trust in ourselves, because nothing exists outside of us that does not exist within us. So I really like that here. It just means there's something else that's going to have to come in play, which we'll see when we read the rest of the cards, to fully close that cycle, to fully start putting us on a new path. Okay. If you're new here, Capricorn, how I read this is I read your energy. I read the energy that we're kind of walking out of, the energy that's maybe dissipating a little bit, but definitely the energy that influenced the rest of the reading and our starting point, kind of. And then I look at the energy that we're walking into now, and then I look at the upcoming energies, and I also look at you, and I look at other. And other doesn't necessarily have to be a person. Other is whatever other energy is impacting you the most, whatever other energy is influencing you, and is affecting you. And then there's the energy that's created by those two energies. That to every action, there's a reaction. So the energy that I have Capricorn walking out of is the Ace of Swords. Now, that doesn't mean you're leaving all Ace of Swords energy. It just means that there was an epiphany. There was an aha moment. Also, Ace of Swords is not just an aha moment, but usually there's an enlightenment. There is, whether it feels channeled, whether it feels like it's gifts, whether it feels like any of that, it's usually something that happens that just where something clicks. I speak about mindset a lot. For me, the Ace of Swords is also a new beginning in a newer mindset that's usually led. It speaks of like getting good with yourself, which is a beautiful thing. One of my favorite cards in the deck And I am using the Light Seers deck. I don't think I have to say that. I think everybody knows the Light Seers deck. It's amazing. In others' energy that they're coming out of, we have the Magician, but it's in reverse. When I have the Magician in reverse, a lot of times it can mean manipulation, or it can be somebody who's struggling with manifesting, or is like, I'm done manifesting, because it clearly doesn't work. There's an issue. It's trying to put, it's having the desire of the Fool, right? And then wanting to do something to get that going. And it's, are you aligned? And that manifestation is going to be really, really organic. Like, in other words, I'm in it. I'm totally in the energy. I'm thinking the energy. I'm feeling the energy. I understand. And Magician in reverse can be a bit of resistance to that. Also, depending on the other cards around, it could be somebody who's manipulating instead of manifesting. This is what I want, and so I'll arrange for this person to say this to that person so that that conversation happens. It's a less authentic way of making things happen than the Magician in the upright. I actually feel like that's how this person may, or energy, this could be work, this could be kids. It's, again, whatever is affecting you the most. I really feel like this person is just starting to understand that the reverse Magician is not the way to go. It's not working. Part of that could be your Ace of Swords, like the aha moment. Sometimes is, aha, I see what you're doing now. And I have such a clear knowing, and I can see everything clearly, that manipulation's not an option for you anymore. What it's creating in between those two energies, the energies, is the Seven of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Swords is like sneaking around, shady. When that's in reverse and the Magician's in reverse with your Ace of Swords, there seems to be an understanding, and good for you. Hi, Momo. That that's no longer an option for them. Now, if I had the Magician in the upright and the Seven of Swords in the upright, I would say this is just who this person is. This is not, I mean, and it's all a difference between behavior, right, and the core of us. And I speak a lot about this also in private sessions with clients, that, you know, and I have a TikTok about it also, that's like, there's a difference between who you are as a human being and your trauma manifested behaviors. This is trauma manifested behaviors. These are less than stellar behaviors. My peach, my favorite Capricorn. Good morning, Connie Joe. She and Stacy are probably two of my favorite Capricorns, but that is my peach. Connie Joe is in the chat. If everyone could say hi. I was just saying that next week we will have we're beginning your Chiron series a week from today, and I'm excited. Hi, Neela. Hi, Momo. So I kind of love this, even though we don't love to see the Seven of Swords, and we don't love to see the Magician in reverse. The reason that these have turned in reverse is because your aha moment has made that behavior a no-go moving forward in this energy exchange. Because everything we do with other people, even with an entity, with work, with family, it doesn't have to be one person. It's an energy exchange. That's why there's a center energy that's created from the exchange. I gotta tell you, Capricorn, I love your side. You have really beautiful cards. Not gonna lie, on your side. I think that World card in reverse for the overall energy is, we'll clarify and we'll see, because we're going to clarify all this. But if I think when we clarify this, we're going to see that little shift that hasn't happened fully yet is because we can't control another person's free will. But your cards are gorgeous. So in and Lee, if you could just let like Momo or anyone who starts asking questions know that we're not gonna take questions. Good morning, Elizabeth. If you could just let everybody know who's just starts coming in with questions, that we're not going to do it till the end of Capricorn. This is different than what I did yesterday. It'll be the same at the end, but this is my full weekly reading. This gorgeous Six of Cups for you, Capricorn. Six of Cups can be soulmate, but it's also inner child work, which is so gorgeously displayed by this card. And this card especially is one of my favorite Six of Cups, and I'll tell you why. Because one of the really interesting, and I love trivia, I always say I have a plethora of useless knowledge. Most of my knowledge ends up being useful, just gonna say. And some of it's just entertaining. But in some of my trauma-informed education, one of the first words that ever existed for trauma or PTSD was the word nostalgia. The Swiss used it for soldiers that were traumatized by battle. We use it very differently now. But this card speaks of nostalgia. And also, you know, we all realistically know, good morning, is that dog is not the same dog when we go from child to full grown with some grays. It is that inner child that's represented in that card that grows and heals. All healing, inner child work, trauma recovery, any kind of healing at all. It's a small thing, it's a big thing, doesn't matter. It's all just learning to accept and love the things that we were taught to hate about ourselves and the things that we struggle to exist with comfortably. And so that Six of Cups, especially in this deck, it speaks to the work that you have done. On their side, they have the Fool in reverse. All of their cards are in reverse. The other energy. All the cards in reverse. All the girls want to be like that. Lord help us. The Fool in reverse. Not wanting to leap, not wanting to feel, it's also not feeling safe. Like the Fool also talks about like leaping without looking. I think they know that you're on your leveling up game. And I think that they know that you see clearly and that the games aren't flying anymore. They're no longer comfortable willy-nillying this exchange with you. There's hesitation, trepidation on their part, kind of as they should be. Like, oh, maybe I cannot operate the way that I did. What that brings between both of you, them for the this is very similar to Virgo's reading. Virgo's reading was like Virgo doing all the work for the right reason. Even Taurus, earth signs in general are having a similar vibe. The Fool in reverse and the Six of Cups are so different. But it's both bringing the Death card, transformation. And in this Death card, we can see within the hood that there's new life. There's the whole point of death coming to the situation, to the energy as it existed. I'm sorry. I always say, replay viewers, watch it with the chat. It adds another layer. That comment from my viewer is probably climbing the charts right now. For one of my favorite comments, she said she loves my musical Tourette's. That is chef's kiss. Accurate of what I do. Death and rebirth is always going to be a good thing. Transformation is always going to be a good thing. I'm a girl who loves a good death card because it means ending for something. You know, this is the sister sign, right, of Cancer. It's the opposites. We talk about balance a lot. Connie, Joe, and I are such opposites in some ways that we balance each other because, you know, our moons trine, but a lot of the others, our Venus is opposite, our sun signs are opposite. You know, we have a lot of opposites, and it creates this really beautiful dichotomy between us. When something is dead for a Cancer, we know it's dead because we're ride or dies. We wrote it until it was dead. We tried everything because Cancers have attachment issues. We don't like letting go of shit. It is what it is. It's the master class in Cancer is like absence of attachment, right? When the death card comes along and people get scared, I want to tell you something. Never be scared when death card comes out in a reading. 99.99% of the time is never about physical death. I've never seen a card where it is about physical death. What it is about something finally withering away that has already been dead. I mean, we have all stayed in jobs, in friendships, and in relationships that were dead. I mean, jobs, friends, friendships, and relationships that might as well be Weekend at Bernie's. It's like propping something up and dragging it around. It's been done. It's been done. So the death card comes along to literally let that thing go so that you can breathe new life. Absolutely. Again, you have some of my favorite cards in the entire deck in your reading, Capricorn. Connie Joe, I hope you're listening to this, girlfriend. Because you know your guides and my guides just like this. We have in your upcoming energy the gorgeous Six of Wands. And that is victory. It's victory. We also have progression here, because we have the aha moments, the thought that, we have a lot of thoughts as humans, as meat sacks. There's a lot going on. This is Grand Central Station, right? Things come in, and there's a lot of stuff that we second guess. When you have an Ace of Swords moment, there's not a lot of second guessing. It's something that will resonate like molecularly. When you know something and you say, I know it like the back of my hand, because it's a thought that resonates so deeply and aligns that it physically feels like a knowing. That aha moment brings this personal growth, the 6 cups, the inner child work, all of that. And then we have the victory card. We have, 6s are movements, and shifting usually in the right way. And so, because we have inner child work, which is evolution, personal development, and the 6 cups, we have 6 of wands, which is, walking into victory, conquering. But it's walking into that place where we can be like, I'm doing it. And 6 of Swords is still leaving a bad situation for, 6 of Wands is, 6 of Swords, and is leaving that better, and 6 of Pentacles is getting to the point of reciprocity. It's all movement, and it's pretty much, it's pretty much all movement for good reasons. I'm going to use that from now on. It's such a weekend at Bernie's is literally how many of us have walked around propping up a relationship, a friendship, or a job situation that's been done. We're like, hey, look, isn't this great? Yep, having a great time. Tell our girl I said hi, Connie Jo. So in their energy, in the upcoming energies, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. It's a very Capricornian card. You'll hear me say the Knight of Pentacles is the geriatric horse. It goes real slow. The same could be said of how fast I talk in these readings. It's great. I used to be a really fast talker. Now I'm a slow talker. Knight of Pentacles in reverse is like a full stop. And I always say, I don't much care for the Knights, because I like to see a more mature energy around whatever that we're discussing or whatever that is. The Knight of Pentacles, the reason I don't like the Knight of Pentacles is I have fire energy, So like the Knight of Pentacles is so slow that it's annoying. Especially when it's not your energy. When you're the Knight of Pentacles, everything's hippy skippy. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to go at my own pace. It's all good. You don't like it? That sounds like a you problem. But when it's something else that we don't have control over, and it's Knight of Pentacles energy, it's like waiting for paint to dry. And it can cause self-doubt. It can even trigger old self-esteem issues, because like, why am I not enough that this person knows what they want? But the Knight of Pentacles not that. The Knight of Pentacles, all Pentacle cards are about something tangible, right? So the Knight of Cups might rush into love bomb, and the Knight of Wands might rush into panty drop, and the or not even, the Knight of Swords quite runs in to have something to say. Whether they're still running out of that situation then is another story. Like if we don't have a more mature energy to go with that, that can be fleeting. Those energies only care about what happens in the next couple of hours, kids. It's that energy. They only care about what happens till like the sun comes up. The Knight of Pentacles cares. They don't just care about the next 6 hours. They care about the next 6 days, 6 months, 6 years. That's why they're moving slowly. Upside down, it's like full stop. It's something tangible, but when it's in someone or something else's energy, that you might not be feeling the tangible. It may seem non-existent. It's the same energy as the Fool in reverse. I would like to say this person is getting their ish together. So this can have legs properly, like a Capricorn expects something to. What the hell is the point of doing anything if you can't produce results? I mean, says Capricorn. They don't work hard to have I believe it's the very beginning of Endgame. Was it Endgame? No. Infinity War, where Wong says he has no money, and Doctor Strange, they're on Bleecker Street in New York City, and Doctor Strange says, "Great, I'll ask the deli to make you a metaphysical sandwich, ham sandwich." Pentacle of the Capricorns are not about that bullshit. They don't. Not that they can't get metaphysical, but they're not going to kill themselves for imaginary results. So like it can be really challenging to deal with another energy that feels like I promised you there's something happening. I just can't show you right now. It's a very interesting reading. The energy that's created between your victory and this other person's seemingly non-existence work on their own side is the Nine of Swords. The thoughts that keep you up in the middle of the night. You are having great personal development and possibly a little frustration. Let's clarify it and see. 20 years later. This has been not only an interesting read for Capricorn. Who knew my brain would be working like a turbocharged hamster wheel this early in the morning? Because this reading is also having a lot of just great overall collective energies coming up too. Evolutionary energies. It's the evolutionary and Suzzy evolutionary, in case no one gets that. That is just because my entire practice, existence, and want to do any of this is all focused on your evolution and like what energies can we focus on that'll be evolutionary for you, that move you through anything that makes you unhappy. You have a 29-degree cusp. That is interesting when that gets activated. That would be interesting for your relationships with siblings. And also I would be careful with like local travel when anything is activating that cusp. Alan, put too much creamer in my coffee. Anybody ever do that? Yuck. All right. Let's clarify. Then after we clarify, we're going to take a message from, I don't know if I'm going to do a message from your person. We're going to get a message from the other, or a card for the other energy, and then an oracle card for you. Then we're going to take free card pulls. This is normally how free card pulls go. I do them at the end of Capricorn, end of Aquarius, end of Sagittarius, and end of Pisces when water signs don't take me out. I just felt like I was overdue to share myself with the other time zones in a live capacity. And that ended up being an accurate gut instinct because we were all there for 4 hours yesterday. I saw somebody ask if there's a replay. I want to say that was Jody, maybe. The whole live is there yesterday. The whole live is there on my channel. It's just under lives. And the thumbnail says like free card pulls, getting to know my community. Okay. Okay. We have, there might have been a 3-party situation. If your other energy was a person, Capricorn, this may have been, not may have been. It may be a 3-party situation. Where one or both feels like that other party is one of those things that like there can be kids involved, or something where it just seems, good morning, Tanya. May seem that where the third party is always problematic unless everybody's in the know, right? We're not talking about polyamory. We're talking about third party, which would indicate a little 7 of Swords, sneaky sneak. This, I have the 3 of Cups. It's in reverse. This feels like the actual romantic tie. You know, there's the 3-party situations as we unfold as a society where people don't stay in toxic relationships anymore, but there's still children that everybody has to be a healthy parent for. You can be a terrible couple and healthy parents as long as you don't try to sustain the toxicity and give your children a front row seat to what love looks like when the love has turned toxic. My 2 cents. I said what I said. There can be a lot of situations where we're accommodating another adult who participates in a healthy way, but not romantically involved in the relationship. That makes sense? But an ex of one or more of the cogs in the machine here. This 3 of Cups specifically in reverse feels like 3 of Pentacles in reverse with the sneaky sneak card would maybe feel like that's just maybe a problematic parent. If I had that with some other cards. The 3 of Cups in reverse looks to me like, good morning, Corey, that there was somebody who was romantically involved, and their romantic relationship has there's probably no more feelings. There's something still, whether it's attachment, whether it's somebody who's fragile, maybe there's secrets in the sauce that people don't want spilled, but for some reason it's still lingering. It's causing issues. Clarifying that whole first row of energy, which is the energy that we're leaving. It's kind of like the root chakra of this card, of this reading, of this energy exchange, where it's like, you know, how did this start? We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I mean, gorgeous Queen of Pentacles card anyway, but the Queen of Pentacles is about somebody who understands they can grow anything. They are the power. They are the stability. The things aren't the house isn't the stability, the bank accounts, they are the stability. I always say it's one of my favorite partner cards, because with that person, everything can burn down, they'll help you build it back up. They're not flinching. It's in reverse. So again, we may have something here where they don't see you as the stability anymore, because, you know, we had Magician in reverse and the Seven of Swords card. There was some not full honesty going on here, and you don't feel like the stability, and or not you, this other energy understands that you no longer see them, so they don't feel that way either. This Six of Cups that we got for Capricorn's energy they're walking into is clarified by this Ten of Wands, and if that's not the most gorgeous Ten of Wands card, I don't know what is. This is my Mystical Moments deck that I love. When we see that Ten of Wands, she's clearly full. She's got about 200 pounds of flowers, things that she loved, that she willingly carried. The burden of work, of home, of handling it all, right? And we see her still picking another flower. This came out in reverse. The old you that would have continued to carry the burden is no longer doing that. Again, love it. We have a pair. We have the Queen and King of Pentacles on there. I only use one card to clarify the whole old energy, because we're not in that energy anymore. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. This King of Pentacles in reverse with the Fool in reverse. This other energy may have had a little cockiness. For some of you, that is work. That is something humbled this person, which we can see with the Fool in reverse. They're also being seen. You know, they used to operate in the cloak of darkness. They were a little ninja stealthy, you know, shady. That's not possible anymore with your Ace of Swords, with your aha moment. King of Pentacles is very Saturnian. You know, Saturn is a lot of things, right? It's father figure, it's patriarchy, it can be oppression, it's structured entities, rules. It can also be like self-discipline or discipline. And when we are not acting in self-discipline, wherever that placement is in our chart, some things we can get away with, you know. And Saturn says, not this time. Like Saturn usually makes you pay the ferryman, so to speak. Since I feel like I have a lot of England, paying the ferryman might make more sense than I don't know if it does to the people in the States. But Saturn shows up and asked you to be disciplined in some areas. And when we're not, it tends to bite us. But Saturn is also the wisdom that we accumulate from the stuff that was hardest. So we have King of Pentacles in the upright. That is somebody who's very wise. They're very helpful. They are, they know shit. They're somebody who would go to advice, get advice from, probably maybe get a loan from. But they seem like they have it together. They know it. They're very disciplined. Pay their taxes early, you know, just everything, right? When it's in reverse, that is who they thought they were, and it's no longer what they're feeling like. Again, something humbled this energy. Probably you. Because if anyone's going to come along and humble your ass, it's going to be a Capricorn. And good. Like, sometimes people need it. Sometimes maybe that's misguided. And as a 10th house sun and a 10th house Mars, I will take that on as well. Sometimes there's a little endorphin rush from humbling, having, you know, it's sometimes karma is letting things handle themselves, and sometimes Capricorn doesn't mind if they show up as karma and they watch. And so this is somebody who got a ginormous slice of humble pie. The energy that is creating is this Three of Cups that we talked about can no longer exist. For those of you that this is a three-party situation, Capricorn, it feels like maybe this person has had a lot of excuses to why they just can't be a two-party situation. Why they can't show you the respect, especially in the way that a Cap would prefer and deserves. You know, if monogamy and being in a two-party situation with not having to, you know, feel like I have to check somebody's phone is your thing, then, and that is the contract that you enter a verbal contract that you enter into relationships with, then that's what you deserve. I think this person may have found excuse after excuse every time you're like, oh my God, why do you have to be home with this person on a Friday night with the kids? Like, why are you all watching a movie together? Whatever it is. And I'm not saying that's the worst thing in the world. There's plenty of co-parenting situations where it's really so platonic that's Gucci. But this was not. This particular situation was not. I don't feel like this is just recent. For some of you, them coming up with excuses of why this person's name is coming up all the time, why they've been problematic, why there was at one point maybe an emotional thing where it should have been like, okay, now this is done, and it wasn't. This seems like years of this. They're fragile, I can't leave. They need my financial, I can't leave. Like, whatever it's been, it feels like a while. I think they're aware now. This is everything. It's one of the reasons it's my favorite cards. One, because it brings personal development. Two, it's a little harder to pull the wool over that energy's eyes. And again, gaslighting is way harder when this is your energy. You're going to be hard pressed to gaslight somebody that's got this going on, because you're probably not second guessing whatever they're trying to sell. You're not buying. What's coming up is this Nine of Wands, this victory. We see the scars. We see we talk about gleaning wisdom from the more challenging things in life in that Capricornian King of Pentacles. And these are the scars. These are the scars that we endure and why we are defending it. Fight with a Capricorn, you'll find out real quick how they're willing to defend what they worked for. Whatever you may choose to respect or disrespect them, Capricorn's not disrespecting their own work, their own hard work. I answered your question yesterday, so I'm happy. I go live plenty of times a week. But the list is everybody who didn't get their question answered yesterday. So you're not on the priority list. If we run through the priority list and you have another question, I'm here for it. The priority list is quite extensive. So in their energy, this is so here's their I love you. Here is their clarifying this full stop is they're in full stop, but they're also in full love. They're in full stop because they want a new beginning in love, which is what the Ace of Cups is. The Ace of Cups is, I am sure that I love you. I want this to be the foundation, the start, the beginning. Ace of Cups in this reading is, but I love you. And the energy clarifying this Nine of Swords, the thoughts that keep us up, is the Page of Cups, which is really interesting. I kind of always love this center row because it never fails to fit both sides. On your side, that is there still love there? Yeah. Am I not coming? I'm not going big. Like, this is not, I'm not going to give you all of what I had. I'm not going to do this and hurt myself. So this is my small cup, take it or leave it for them, and it's an apology because Page of Cups is also an apology. Keep doing what you're doing, Capricorn. Keep doing what you're doing. All the earth signs have had really beautiful growth and personal development on their side. I'm in love with it. Let's take a message from them. So Capricorn is almost over, and then we're going to start doing messages. You are outdoors. Okay, well, we're going to be here for a little while doing, I usually stay for about 2 hours pulling cards. So if you want to pop back in, you can. But this is normally how we do it. I have either Sag, Cap, Aquarius, or Pisces. And then I pull cards for the people who show up in the chat as a thank you while I'm growing my channel. I won't say your name out loud. It says, have you moved on? I'm worried. That feels very accurate for this reading. Let's pull an oracle card for you. I am not feeling into the woods for this. I am feeling, there goes one of my lights. Lee, if you're still around, can you... To be fair, and let's read this. You should follow me on Instagram because there's a whole post about the fact that I painstakingly took time to get every name, and that there's a priority list, and it's also right in the title. And everybody's list is right. Everybody's name that's on the priority list is right in the description. So I would definitely take extra time to like read the title and also follow me on Instagram, because then you'll have updates until I get a community page. But we are in the middle of Capricorn's reading. Well, not in the middle. We're at the end of it. Okay. To be fair, balance, justice, a need to consider options, the law of cause and effect. I mean, if this reading hasn't been about it, this is about not moving forward unless it's mutual benefit. I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to Virgo Capricorn. I love this reading for you. And I know this person's being a bit of a wanker, as they say. You like that, Alan? This person's being a bit of a wanker, they've had some pretty deep wanker history. However, we can't control what another person does. And what I'm seeing for you, who's the person that I'm most concerned with, is great personal development and a willing to protect it. And a willingness not to just melt at the mere offer of, but I love you. This, to be fair, being fair to yourself is so important. As humans, it's really easy for us to be fair to other people that we care about. We can be fair. We can want justice and be fair, and want fairness for humans we will never meet in our lives. But then when we think about being fair to ourselves, that's the real struggle. A tosser. Yes, this person's been a wanker and a tosser. I'm trying to cater to my audience right now because Capricorn, you keep the same thing. Keep doing what you're doing. For sure, keep doing what you're doing. Also, do I see that this person understands? I can't just keep making 1,000 excuses for why I still have unhealthy attachments. It's okay to have an attachment to a responsible co-parenting situation. It's okay to participate in a healthy co-parenting situation. It's okay to honor the promises you made financially to somebody. if that was the contract verbally going into the relationship that you should emotionally be out of at this point. What's not okay is to have somebody come up with excuses again and again why they continue to exchange with them energetically in a way that's genuinely, not oversensitively or over, putting more into it than within reality. It's not fair to energetically exchange with that person in a way that's disrespectful to whatever your non-negotiables were. You're allowed to have your non-negotiables, and guess what? They're allowed to have their non-negotiables. And then there's that space in between. Sometimes when we grow out of people, it's because the non-negotiables no longer agree. They create friction. They create opposition instead of harmony or balance, whatever that, because balance almost never looks like this. It doesn't. It looks however it looks, but it's agreeable. Balance can be this way and it can be that way, but it has to be consensual. And so I love that you're saying, now I've developed and my non-negotiables have changed. And sometimes you will grow with people and that'll be okay. And sometimes it won't. And you can't beat yourself up when it's not okay anymore. I don't even know what I did with an entire deck of cards, but I'll figure it out. Capricorn, replayer viewers, thank you so much. I love you, now you love you. And chat people, hang out, because we're going to pull cards.